Sabertooth. Storm. What do they call you? Wheels?
In Spider-Man No Way Home, Willem Dafoe improvised the creepy laugh during the hallway fight after getting punched by Spider-Man. Tom Holland was so caught off guard by it that his shocked reaction was completely real. In Avengers Endgame, the paper football scene between Tony Stark and Nebula was completely improvised by Robert Downey Jr. and Karen Gillan to show how the two passed time while stranded in space.
And you've won.
In Captain Marvel, the moment where Fury peeks under the sheet during the alien autopsy and jokes about the Skull's genitals was completely improvised by Samuel L. Jackson.
They're ugly bastards, aren't they?
In Avengers Age of Ultron, Hawkeye and Quicksilver don't get along at first. During a battle, Quicksilver speeds past Hawkeye, and in frustration, Hawkeye jokes about shooting him and blaming it on Ultron.
Nobody would know. Nobody.
Jeremy Renner thought the scene was over, but the cameras were still rolling and the funny moment made it into the movie.
The last I saw him, an Ultron was sitting on him. Yeah, I'll be missed.
Star-Lord. Who? Legendary outlaw?
In Guardians of the Galaxy, when Star-Lord is captured and upset that no one knows his name, it was an unscripted joke added by James Gunn and Chris Pratt to show how unknown the character was, making fans root for him as the underdog.
Star-Lord. Who?
In Avengers Endgame, the moment when Doctor Strange silently raises one finger to Tony Stark was improvised by Benedict Cumberbatch. It's a powerful callback to Infinity War, where Strange said he saw only one winning outcome out of 14 million. In X-Men, when Wolverine meets Professor X, he says,
Sabertooth. Storm. What do they call you? Wheels?
The wheels part was ad-libbed. The scripted line was, what do they call you, Baldy? Also, the moment where Cyclops smiles at a young boy in the train station was unscripted. James Marsden simply returned the smile of a young fan who couldn't stop grinning at him. In Spider-Man Far From Home, when Peter Parker hesitates to take on a mission from Nick Fury, claiming he's just a friendly neighborhood superhero, Fury responds with the memorable line,
I'm just a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, sir.
Please, you've been to space.
This line was actually improvised by Samuel L. Jackson, who added extra words to make it even more impactful.
Please, you've been to space.
In Loki Season 1 finale, Jonathan Majors improvised the moment where Kang jumps on his desk while explaining the multiverse.
You're welcome.
In Ant-Man, while Hope is training Scott to become a superhero, she suddenly lands a solid punch to his face. The moment wasn't in the script, but Paul Rudd stayed perfectly in character. Without missing a beat, he delivered a hilarious improvised comeback that made it into the final cut.
Were you going for the hand?
In Captain America Civil War, Tony asking Peter Parker to move his leg so he can sit next to him was because Tom Holland forgot his blocking. Still, they both stayed perfectly in character, so it was kept in.
I'm gonna sit here so you move the leg.
In Spider-Man No Way Home, the moment where the three Peter Parkers point at each other recreating the iconic Spider-Man meme was Andrew Garfield's idea.
Peter!
Yeah? Oh, sorry. Did you mean
that?
As a lifelong fan, Garfield suggested it during filming, and the team loved it enough to include it in the final cut.
Peter.
We're all called Peter, man.
Peter Parker?
Same again, we're all Peter Parker.
In Doctor Strange, Rachel McAdams' startled reaction in the broom closet was completely real. The mop handle fell by accident and genuinely scared her. Director Scott Derrickson kept the take because McAdams stayed in character the entire time.
Welcome, Strongest Avenger.
What?
In Thor Ragnarok, one of the most memorable unscripted moments occurred when Thor encounters Hulk in the arena. Expecting a brutal fight, the crowd is stunned when Thor happily says,
"We know each other. He's a friend from work."
The line was improvised by Hemsworth, inspired by a boy he met through the Make-A-Wish program. It was so iconic that it even made it into the trailer.
"He's a friend from work."
In Avengers Infinity War, the Wakandan battle chant was completely unscripted.
Ibombe! 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 Ibombe!
The actors, having recently worked on Black Panther, felt such a deep connection to their characters that the chant came naturally during filming.
Ibombe! Ibombe!
Yibambe, meaning hold strong, serves as a battle cry for the Wakandans, especially during fights involving the border tribe. In Black Panther, one standout moment occurs when Killmonger first enters the royal palace and greets Queen Ramonda with a casual line that was completely improvised by Jordan.
Hey, Auntie.
He later repeated the same line at the Oscars in support of Angela Bassett, who plays Ramonda.
Hey, Auntie. We love you.
In Spider-Man Homecoming, when Tony Stark leans in and Peter thinks he's getting a hug, only for Tony to say he's just reaching for the car door, that hilariously awkward moment was completely improvised by RDJ.
That's not a hug. I'm just grabbing the door for you. We're not there yet.
In Guardians of the Galaxy, Chris Pratt accidentally dropped the orb while filming, and it was so funny and true to Quill's clumsy nature that they kept it in. Similarly, in Thor: The Dark World, Hemsworth improvised hanging hammer on a coat rack as a joke, but it fit so well they left it in. According to Whedon's DVD commentary, RDJ improvised his "Hello Dear" line in Age of Ultron when working on the tractor.
Hello, dear.
Whedon liked the line so much that he admits in the same commentary that he kicked himself for not having thought of it.
Hello, dear.
Wong, you're invited to my wedding.
In Avengers Infinity War, during the tense standoff between the Guardians and the Avengers, Dave Bautista improvised Drax's now iconic line.
Why is Gamora?
The hilarious and completely offbeat line wasn't even in the script. It caught everyone off guard, but it fit Drax's character so perfectly that the directors decided to keep it in.
Yeah, I'll do you one better.
Who's Gamora?
Why is Gamora?
In Thor, Chris Hemsworth improvised the now iconic line after drinking coffee and smashing the mug on the floor, catching everyone off guard and earning genuine reactions.
This drink, I like it.
I know, it's great, right?
Another!
In The Avengers, Downey Jr. changed the original post-credits scene with a joke. Originally, Tony was meant to give a serious speech after the Battle of New York. Instead, Downey improvised a line about trying shawarma.
You ever tried shawarma? There's a shawarma joint about 2 blocks from here. I don't know what it is, but I want to try it.
The producers loved the idea and added a new scene of the Avengers eating shawarma after the fight. In Guardians of the Galaxy, Chris Pratt tries to explain the wild history of his spaceship, the Milano. He improvised a Jackson Pollock joke in a way that's both funny and a little shocking.
Your ship is filthy.
If I had a black light, the place would look like a Jackson Pollock painting.
It's a great gag because 99% of kids will have no idea what a Pollock is, and even if they do, they won't make the connection to Quill's sexual activity.
You got issues, Quill.
In Thor, after Thor's reckless attack on Jotunheim, Odin angrily scolds him. When Loki tries to intervene, Odin growls at him, causing Loki's shocked reaction.
Father. Hey!
This unexpected growl from Anthony Hopkins wasn't in the script, but it caught Hiddleston off guard and brought a raw, genuine tension to the scene.
You're unworthy!
In Infinity War, when Tony and Strange argue after defeating Ebony Maw, Peter tries to speak, but Tony quickly shuts him down, a moment that wasn't in the script.
I'm back up.
No, you're still away. The adults are talking.
Downey Jr. improvised the line, showing how naturally he embodied Tony Stark after a decade in the role. During Avengers: Age of Ultron, Stark has a scene looking for something hidden in an old structure. The script has him finding a hidden door.
Please be a secret door, please be a secret door.
Yay!
Both of those lines were completely unscripted, as Tony was meant to not talk during this scene.
Yay!
That happy little yay will always be the single best part of this entire movie. In Captain America: The First Avenger, Peggy Carter's stunned reaction to Steve Rogers' transformation felt incredibly real, because it was. When she reaches out to touch his chest in awe, that moment wasn't in the script.
As though he's got firm chestly areas.
Well, they were absolutely enormous, though.
Yeah. You know, coming from you, that's a hell of a thing to say.
In Infinity War, Thor's epic entrance in Wakanda had the theater erupting in cheers. After that, Thor shares a mini reunion with Captain America, playfully telling him,
Your haircut? Notice you've copied my beard.
It turns out, though, this was all Chris Hemsworth's idea.
Notice you've copied my beard.
In Doctor Strange, the moment where Strange randomly calls Wong Beyoncé wasn't in the script. Benedict Cumberbatch improvised it on the spot.
Books on astral projection.
You're not ready for that.
Try me, Beyoncé.
Director Scott Derrickson loved the line so much that he kept it in, and even added a later scene of Wong listening to Single Ladies to keep the joke going.
Come on, you've heard of her. She's a huge star, right?
I am Groot.
So what?
In Guardians of the Galaxy, the Jackasses line wasn't originally in the script. It was improvised by Sean Gunn while standing in his rocket on set. Director James Gunn loved it so much that he had Bradley Cooper record it for the final cut.
Bunch of jackasses standing in a circle.
I'm sure a lot of hardcore Marvel fans are aware of this already, but I'm still putting this on the list because this probably is the biggest improvisation that has come out of all the MCU movies. In the first Iron Man movie, the iconic scene where Tony Stark reveals he is Iron Man was actually improvised by RDJ.
Truth is, I am Iron Man.
The script was unfinished, so Downey Jr. improvised the final line, surprising Kevin Feige, who loved it and kept it in, creating a landmark MCU moment.
I am Iron Man.